Queen's Gambit podcast.
Let's go!
We're back. It's another episode of the Queen's Gambit Fantasy Football Podcast. It's your host, the Commish. And I need to get back on camera for you guys. So what's up? The camera is back up. I got all the usual segments today. I'm changing up. I'll admit, I want to change up the review. I don't want this to be an NFL football review. I want this to be a fantasy football podcast review. So I'm just going to talk about like maybe one thing about the NFL this week in that part and then get right into our league. So with that, we got that. And then we also have Waiver Wire where we'll look at who got picked up and for how much money and who outbid who and that kind of stuff. We're going to do the Madden preview. I love doing the Madden preview, and it's going to be challenging for me to do it now with all these injuries coming in, I will say. But I'm going to get it done for you. What else do we got? Crick's pick. Let's make some cheddar together. And yeah, I think we have some other stuff, but let's get into it. There was chaos delivered in week 3 across the NFL. There were so many blocked field goals this week. Like, I can't even remember the last time I've seen this many blocked field goals, blocked kicks, blocked punts, even up to this point, but let alone week 3. It reminds me of the list of Tom Brady detractors I have blocked on Twitter. Trust me, it's a lot. Popping over to our league now, we saw duality of man at play as a undefeated team lost for the first time and a defeated team won. So we're slowly converging to the mean in our league now, but we do have 2 3-0 teams left and 2 0-3 teams left.
Whooped and walloped. Presented by Beef.
All right, the first matchup I wanted to review from week 3 was mine and Grant's. As we know, Grant is still an 0-3 team, so this did not end well for you. It started out well. You were ahead for basically the entire matchup, and then Monday Night Football happened. David Montgomery had you looking like. The next matchup also had a Monday Night Football comeback, and that was between Jay and Jamie, with the latter riding Jahmyr Gibbs back to victory. Again, on Monday Night Football, you got 24.4 points from him to seal that victory. You ended up winning by 10. Jay, feel bad for you because the neighbors only had like 2.3 points. And it really is Russell Wilson's fault. That guy stinks.
Unlimited diarrhea.
I'm glad he's getting benched. I bet you're glad he's getting benched. The next matchup featured Nick and Cam, Nick Monteperto, I should say, in the battle of maybe who should have been the paintball president after all. Nick's team won with basically that meme of everyone being like, I'm doing my part, I'm doing my part. And then Debo, I ain't doing shit. But looking at Cam and your team, brother, CeeDee Lamb and James Conner going out in the same week. Is this the beginning of a curse? Q and Pio was our penultimate matchup for this past week. And as a reminder, this was our Madden preview matchup last episode. Pio, you come out the victor by a lot. Q continues to be our league punching bag. Although, yeah, it did have a good day from Hampton. Just couldn't overcome JT doing his thing and Jalen Hurts putting up 30. And our final matchup of the week was between Nick Robbins and John, who we talked about earlier. John, you getting your first win of the year. Big time. Nick, sorry you had to go through that. John finally got a big day from A.J. Brown and also Mark Andrews, finally. Don't fall into that trap, brother. Nick, old strategy leaving 21 points on your bench.
Accolades of appreciation.
Time to recognize some fun stats that separated some players this week. So Chris Pio wins our $10, being the top scorer of the week, coming in a 1/10 of a point higher than our previous top scorer for the entire season, which was Jay last week. Q, you're continue to be our doormat for this season, which sucks because you're outscoring me healthily right now in the league, and I'm 2-1. Pio, you did have like the least impressive largest margin of victory so far in this season. And then Jamie, you're living dangerous, my man, but you are our smallest margin of victory person yet again. And then for what it's worth, Yahoo was 3-2 this week in projecting our matchups.
Waiver Wire, presented by Liv's Tits.
No, my wife's tits were not available as free agent acquisition this week. I would spend all my fab on them, by the way. However, Matthew Stafford was, the Detroit Lions defense was, got them for $5 over Nick Robbins, who bid. Miles Sanders got picked up for $6, which is interesting to spend that much money on a pile of poo, but James Conner's gone, so I get it, Cam. And then Trey Tucker. $26 was the highest bid for Trey Tucker. That goes to Nick Robbins. And in fact, it was the only bid for Trey Tucker. So, I don't know about that one.
It's time!
As a reminder, this segment is perfect at predicting. And this week we got the Battle of the Knicks. We got Robbins versus Nick Monteperto. Should be a good one. Let's see the tail of the tape. This is an interesting matchup because of where these two players came from last week. Robbins loses to John, giving him his first victory, so morale's low in that camp. But Monteperto coming off a real high, beating Cam, who was previously undefeated. Let's see if that reflects in the matchup. So booting up Madden, we'll go to the franchise mode that we have set up for this league. I had to take over all the teams to make sure the depth spots are okay. And also we have injuries off. No, that's good. Thursday night, Seattle whoops Arizona, and then my Patriots lose to the Panthers. Oh, this isn't realistic at all. So taking all the stats from these games, I was able to determine that Nick wins. Monteperto, that is. Nick, congrats on the first win of the week.
Crick's Picks!
Yeah.
I had to stand up for this one. I did. I had to stand up for this one because we won one last week, fellas. We got it. Last Thursday, we sweated out -9.5. Remember, we stepped that down from 12.5 to 9.5. I told you guys to take the win. And boy, was it a sweat. It came down to a field goal right at the end. This week, I'm not trying to capitalize on an injury, but I think there's an opportunity for Trey Benson to go over 14.5 rushing yards. Take the alternate on that. Excuse me. Trey Benson, 14 attempts. There we go. Take that and win. Let's go. And that wraps it up for this week's episode of the Queen's Gambit Fantasy Football Podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week. Peace.